Hello everyone, Bill Molyneux here for Bill's Wargame World. Hey, it's October 17th. We're going to talk about some fun stuff in the Bill's basement. If you remember, if you watched my video of my flocking mixture, it was still a little thin, so I'm adding a little bit more Elmer's glue to the mix. Um, and, a lot of people sent out messages on this and that, and everyone has different systems. Um, so whatever system works best for you. I like water. The reason I like paint, and um, boy, I forgot who asked me why I put paint in it. The reason I put paint in my mixture wasn't Claude Bailey, Jim Petrie. Jim, the great 54 millimeter wargamer who does the phenomenal Pickett's Charge cartoon, and he has a big surprise coming for Historicon. He's the one who asked. That way, if I miss an area with flocking material, I still have a brown color rather than a white glue. All right, so we now have our mixture. Our plan is my wife, I don't talk about my wife's health much. Anyhow, she's at the doctor's. We'll just say that, and I'm going to be working on some figures here just to keep some time, keep my energy, positive thoughts, and shout out to Ronald McDonald. He made a nice donation to the Goober Fund. Again, I'm not really asking for money. I'm asking you just to watch my channel for the Toys for Tots program, and appreciate Jim Russell and for his big donation of $100. Cotton Jim, the vendor. All right, this is our Matilda tank that I got from Ron, the Pretzel Snyder King, Ron Perlman, who also donated $20 to the YouTube fund for Toys for Tots. All right, in the next week or so, I'll pick up the figures from Jim Shaw, the last of the French and Belgians. I'll be turning this table into France 1940 and parts of Belgium too. You have some ideas for scenarios? Martin Knight, great wargamer from England who's recovering from an operation. Um, so, um, I'm going to probably do Eben and L with the German paratroopers landing. Um, I haven't produced a board war game. Weiss Fork has not really taken off. Kim Metis was phenomenal in helping with that game. Uh, but I am considering using this as one of my resources for the Battle of the Hook. It's the largest Revolutionary War battle of the American Revolution, and I would use my War of 1812 French Indian War system and just make a small game, maybe for this fall, springtime, spring more than fall. We're already going ready into winter. All right, let me see about getting this camera set up, and we'll flock some figures and talk a bit about wargaming. All right, everyone. I'll be on the camera a little bit. I don't always get on the camera here as much as my work. All right. So, Historicon, Cold Wars is back. We have Historicon, of course, and then we have our Fallen. Now, Fallen is 2 weeks, and some of the chuckleheads will be helping me a little bit with the giant Fort William Henry game. And that game is going to be a lot of fun. Totally revamped the rules. We got a one-page rule sheet, front and back. So I'm really excited that it's really just moving big 54 millimeter figures around the table. We're going to have a relief column coming, and it's if you're looking for something that's light and fun, you don't have to think a lot. You're going to be rolling handfuls of D6s, and I even made a real simple morale system for it. Um, so that's Fort William Henry, and then coming up, and I'm going to be starting to talk about the Williamsburg muster in Williamsburg, Virginia, a lot more, because that is one of my most famous or favorite games, conventions to go to, and it really is a great event. The hotel has food, everything's on site. Um, so now, if I want to, I could give our sand a little bit of green, or add some twigs or some other stuff in it, and mix it up. But right now, I think I'm fine with what I'm doing. So I really just want to get these flocked enough. So there. Now, the plan is for this weekend, October 18th, after work, it looks like I might head down to Virginia alone. My wife needs to stay home this weekend, I think. Um, so I'm, and then I got to mow the lawn down there. I got to deliver some Goober calendars to a couple museums. If you haven't gotten your Goober calendar, Goober, all you have to do is, it's cool. I have discovered, someone sent me a note, that all you have to do is go into Google and Google Goober calendar, and it comes right up. Who would ever think that would work? And I'm really, I'm happy if whatever we make to give to the Maryland Veterans Museum, but I hope we at least get close to what we were able to donate to Braddock's Battlefield History Center last year. Connie and Nell work so hard at that museum, and all their volunteers. Um, and if you're in La Plata, Newburgh, Maryland, please stop there. It is an old school. It's totally been converted into a museum. Each room is a room that's dedicated to a different part of American military history. Vietnam, Korea, World War One, World War Two, and their exhibits are phenomenal. So, um, really, an incredible museum, and that's what the Goober calendar is helping with this year. And um, you know, last month we made $36. So I'm I'm hoping when Steve from Blue Panther Printing, who is my printer, that he will come back and tell me this month we've at least equaled that or doubled it. I'll be embarrassed to tell Connie that we're not doing good. But I'm hoping more and more history sites will consider ordering one for their offices. And there is a secret code to to get a discount if you are a historic site. So um, please, if you're know of a historical society or something, just contact me for the secret code. And no, it's not Goober. I had somebody actually think that the secret code was Goober, and but it's not. Oh, these figures were painted by the great Jim Shaw, and I was planning on going to his house tonight to pick up figures, but I needed to stay home um, for other reasons. So, and I'm very, very happy of all of Jim Shaw's help with painting. And then So the idea with the Egyptians doing the battle of the scenario battle. If who's seen Khartoum? All right, in Khartoum, there's a neat little battle where Charlton Heston goes out foraging and he needs supplies, and they venture out and they get supplies. I think it's camels and cattle and stuff, and then they have a battle on the way back. And I think that's a cool little scenario to do that I could do in an hour or two. Um, Not sure what rules I'd use or anything like that, but um, I think it'd be very cool. And it's only Egyptians, Egyptian cavalry, and I think it's Fuzzy Wuzzies. I can't remember if there's any dervish in it. So now I'm painting along here. E6000 is the glue I glue my figures to. There's two types now, E6000 and a silver tube. That's been the main one I've been using, but they do have a new one out, E6000 for plastics and a red tube. I've made videos of that. You do need to let the plastic and the glue set for 72 hours. Once you've done that, you can't pry it apart. So the E6000, um, I don't know if I have. Yeah, look at this E6000. Get the red kind if you need to glue plastic to plastic. You can chop a head off a figure and glue it back on with that, and it won't come off. And it's even if it's an Airfix figure with that stupid plastic that refused to bond to anything, well, this stuff will. A little note though, if you are married or have a spouse or whatever, and you're in the you they don't like the smell of weird glue paint. Um, it does smell. So look at that. This is a somewhat tedious process, especially when you have. I don't even want to guess how many figures I have. And I love making that joke. The day I die, my 3 or 4 thousand board games go to Steve Mines, the Age of Glory booth guy. Um, but all the figures, um, the guys will have to deal with that, and I'd like to see walk going up and down my stairs all day long, helping Kevin and Josh Warliff hauling this stuff out of the basement. So it'll be a. Now my plan is I got to mow the lawn in Virginia, and I have to deliver calendars to some museums, and my boathouse, that big 30-foot long boathouse thing I got, I'm going to see about getting the electricity set up. I'm getting the fence put in this week, but I gotta get electricity in there. I'm running an extension cord to power everything. But I gotta get that fixed. But I do have tables down there now, more tables. So it's gonna be uh, 5 feet wide, 16 feet long, and then the slot car track at the far end. So that's at least the plan. And now I'm just going to reminisce a bit. For those of you working on figures, and I know George in New Jersey has sent me notes that he'll at least have me go and make these videos while I'm just chit-chatting. And some of these only get 100 views, and I don't even know how long someone listens to me babble, or waffle as they call it in England, I was told. But on some Saturdays, Jack in the Gettysburg area gamers would come over, and him and I would work on figures for the following week. and we'd watch war movies while painting figures, and it was great times, Jack and I. And then Jack moved to Arizona in 2011, I think it was, and boy, he's been gone over a decade, and so he's a great war gamer. He is a phenomenal war gamer. But as we keep putting sand on our figures here, and I didn't sand this one very good. Now I missed some sand on here. Now if I hadn't noticed that, and I put it over here later on when it dried, because I'm using a brown paint, a sand colored paint, you wouldn't notice it much. Where if this glue mixture was white Elmer's glue, um, it would show. And look at that, we have a loose figure here. So E6000, we're just gonna put some E6000 right there on that figure. And I was talking to a Marine today, and a very nice fella, very nice Marine, and he was congratulating me and giving me kudos about all I do for history. He just said, I'm a bit of a nut, which is very true, but he's amazed at the stuff I do. And so Maurice, if you're out there ever watching this, um, thank you for your compliments. And it's true, I am a bit crazy at times on stuff, but I love to use the line, life is very short, and it really is. And it's best to try to do as much as you can. I get carried away trying to do too much at times, but um, for the most part, um, I'm at least trying to make a small impact with small museums and history sites. And I picked up the wrong figure on there. I picked up the one that we just glued. But Maurice is very happy with the Toys for Tots program that we're running with, of course, Goober the Traveling Bear. And the so I figured I'd let this run for 30 minutes or so and just chit chat with you all. And I'm hoping some of you will come and visit me at Fallen. We're going to be giving the Goober check, which will be matched by Sean Reese in the Marines or whatever. I think we're going to do that on Friday night. I'll have to check with him um, how how he wants to do that. If he wants to come down to my table or go up to his area or wait till Saturday for the big drawing. But I'll have a Goober check made out, and hopefully we'll have we're over 500 or $400 right now. I think it is 430 or something. So I don't know, when all said and done, it's all up to these views. And it closes out October 25th, I think it is, when YouTube restarts the next cycle. So, and if you're wondering, my November, December, we are going to help Civil War Trails. Civil War Trails. If you don't know what Civil War Trails is, Civil War Trail signs. They are signs along the road. They're a little rectangle thing, red, white, and blue. And they tell you when you're near a Civil War site. Um, and it's not necessarily Gettysburg or something. It can be John Wilkes Booth's hideout place. It could be, Rice Fork, for instance. It could be just anything along the highway, secondary roads. Some of them are on dirt roads practically. So Civil War Trails is going to be, and I've been doing pictures of Goober at Civil War Trail sites, and we're trying to do more. There is a issue called, I have a job, so I can't do as much as I'd like, and I'm running out of vacation time. It's getting near the end of the year. So, but we do what we can do and trying to promote history. So it is interesting. Um, Tonight at 7, I am doing another newspaper interview. I had an interview a week and a half ago. It's on the Latrobe Bulletin, and it's on the internet. You can actually look up the interview. And Joe, the interviewer, uh, who interviewed me, did a fantastic job. He's a true wordsmith, and he talks. We go over the war games for Fort Ligonier, and he did a really incredible write up on everything, including Goober stuff, my war games, Blue Panther printing. I just can't say how awesome it was, and very appreciative of the time he took and put me on in the paper like that. It was quite impressive, and I'm not sure um, what tonight's interview is going to be like. I was told he wants to not talk about war games per se, but he wants to talk more about what I do in traveling and visiting historic sites and trying to help um, raise awareness of places. Um, so, and then I wish George from New Jersey or Sheriff John from Broome County, New York were my neighbors, because I'd have them here flocking figures. This is a tedious, endless task. And so, if anyone's wondering about the Anglo-Zulu War figures and the school teacher thing. All right, well, it's been held up, and I'm not going to get into a lot of politics, but um, it may be where it doesn't happen. It's now being reviewed again about running a miniature war game event in his classroom, and I already had one issue with a Little Bighorn game over 2 years ago, or I think it was before COVID, come to think of it. So we will wait and see, but I hope it happens. I spent quite a bit of time getting everything together and play testing, and um, I don't want a teacher to get in trouble either. And we'll just go from there. So, the world has changed a bit on stuff, and um, so glue this guy down. I don't know. He's flopping off. I find that everything with schools and you know, gosh, you think about school shootings now. Yeah, I'm over 60, but I don't remember school shootings. And a lot of this stuff is so new in our world with, the youth being getting in trouble, but compared to I guess when I was younger. Um, so very very sad. Now, I don't know why I have a couple figures popping off these bases today. Because normally E6000 works fantastic with no issues. But there we go. And we stick them in the sand. So hopefully our Zulu game with the school end up going off okay. Um, it was interesting because his plan was not just to talk about the Zulu War, but communication, logistics, and just a little bit of everything. Um, so he may just do snippets of the movie Zulu Dawn, the show about the miscommunication and the brave Zulu warriors and how they overcame, terrain to get to the attacking area of the British and wipe them out. So, I'm not sure, and I was told he won't know until next Monday now. So, and I'm not saying what school it is or anything. I don't want to do anything like that. But so I'm really excited about falling. Are you, all my viewers out there? I know some of you are in other countries, Australia, England, and New Zealand and stuff. But Fall In is our war game convention in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and it is the land of the Amish. It's where the people that are religious and don't believe in using cars, they live sort of like in the 1800s, and so that's the area we'll be wargaming at, and I think they'll have at least 1,500 wargamers. I can't say for sure. Rusty Miller is running the event with several good helpers, Cliff Bunkin, and I gotta do a shout out. If you see John Sneed, he's in charge of a lot of the event stuff, and he did phenomenal for me on for my Fort William Henry game, making sure the times were set. I had a mix up where I had 25 tickets available for one time slot that I messed up, and he caught that. So if you see John Sneed or anything, he did great, and so there. But now I could get some sand from my house in Virginia. My whole driveway and backyard is all sand. It is the weirdest thing to live there, and you're working in the garden. My wife was working in the garden a couple weeks ago, and crabs about the size that big come out of the ground or around the ground. So, I grew up in upstate New York, and I've lived here in this region for 20 plus years now, 25 years. But as far as having crabs running around the ground like that is not normal for me. So that was sort of cool. And of course, my wife she's was happy to do some gardening work. So we're um, very very excited about going to my Virginia house, or our Virginia house, and I'm not sure what I'll set up on that table, but the the Battle of the Chesapeake, the naval action between the British and the French. That's this month here, and I'd like to set up my big naval battle game, but I gotta mow the lawn, deliver calendars, and I gotta say, Matthews, Virginia, has several incredible museums. It's really neat. They have the Matthews Historical Society Museum, and then which changes every 3 months. Then they have the Tompkins Cottage. Then they have a maritime museum, which is sort of cool. They have German U-boat stuff in there, big binoculars and stuff. And so then you have Gwynn's Island Museum, which they have like a big whale bones or something in there. So um, the little tiny town has a lot of history. And then Fort Nonsense, which is a huge Civil War earthen fort, is down the road. They got a 10-pounder parrot out front. And the only bad thing about that fort is it is really, really buggy. And I mean buggy. So, it's the mosquitoes will pick you up and carry you away if you're not sprayed down. And so, by the way, leave me a comment. If I make this board game, which will cost me several $100s if I don't get financing for it, um, do you think you would buy a copy of the Battle of the Hook, the only the largest cavalry battle in the American Revolution? Um, I did a video on it a couple weeks ago, by the way. And what's sad is Luzon, the French Duke dude, who is the French commander of the cavalry, during the French Revolution, he gets beheaded, which is quite depressing. It's very depressing in a way that he gets his head chopped off. That's and I mentioned in that video that we are very lucky that France helped us. I think they helped us more just to irritate Great Britain. They were at war with Great Britain forever. It's like they would take a break to reorganize. Both countries did, and but hopefully the the game that I'm making or might make, um, hopefully someone will buy it if I invest in some money and time. And board war game design, by the way, once in a while someone will ask me about it. It costs money to have an artist make your map, unless you can do that, and then you have to have counters made, and rules have to be edited and set up, and that takes time and money. So it's not like the game just magically happens. Now, this last game, Kim Metis helped, and of course, Blue Panther Printing with Trevor Jones and Stephen Jones, and with Weiss Fork. It was so, and gosh darn it, look at what happened. See? Really weird that some of these are popping off. I don't know what's going on. Normally my E6000 is incredible. So now I may have not filed the bottom. Sometimes I'll take a file and just rough up the bottom of the base a little bit. So that could be the issue with these. I may not have done that. So my wife should be home soon from the doctor's. I have a timer set off. So I need to get ready for her arrival. And we're going to just do this one more base. And then we're gonna go get some food ready for her. And all of you that send me messages and see me at events, you know, she's gone through a lot. I'm not allowed to say much anymore. She wants me to keep all that private, okay? But I do appreciate all your kind wishes and stuff. And I'll just say we're doing the best we can do, and staying perky and positive. You know, it's I think staying perky and positive sometimes is half the battle in a lot of ways for people. And but we are gonna dip this one in here, and my goodness gracious, I have a zillion more to go. I have boxers all over the place, and uh, so, but you know what? It's a fun hobby, um, and it is what it is. There's I could be golfing, I guess. So I think we're gonna say the standard. Thank you for watching. Please remember Goober calendars if you can. You can just type in Goober calendar in Google. Um, I have not sold as many so far as I have had in previous years. I'd like to at least have a couple $100 for Connie and Nell at the Maryland Veterans Museum. They're only $15. So, um, other than that, I'm going to say stay safe, be kind, be courteous. Thank you for watching. You helped generate more money for Toys for Tots. All right, I'm going to clean up my mess, get ready for my wife to return home. And again, thank you for all your kind wishes. And Ronald McDonald, thank you for watching.